All right, welcome into the Garden Report, CLNS Media. I'm Jeff Goodman. He's Bob Ryan, and Celtics draft is here. And unfortunately, they do not have a number one pick, Bob, because Brad Stevens wanted to get rid of Kemba Walker so bad, and his bulky knee that he traded away their first round pick. So now it's number 45. And listen, I can throw speculation and names out there all we want for second round, like Brandon Boston, if he's out there, the kid from Kentucky who had a real up and down year, but is probably worth taking a risk on, but ultimately, who cares? I mean, how many guys drafted 45th end up being a factor? Not that many. So we're not going to spend a lot of time on that. We're going to talk, Bob, about should Brad Stevens make another big one? Should he make another big one? Or are you now okay with going in with kind of the roster as it presently is constituted and adding another shooter, which is probably what you would do with the money and part of the trade exception that you have?
Well, I don't know to what extent, how much tangible help Al Horford is going to be. But obviously you do have him if you decide to make a blockbuster move that would involve Brown. You still have Al Horford around. I want to get Fournier back in the worst way. I wanted him back even before he tore up the USA in Tokyo. I wanted him back. Remember he was, post-COVID, and he wasn't really getting to look at what he can be. I'm not, if it were Danny, I'd be expecting a big deal. Okay, so we're going to see how Brad operates, but he has already surprised us with the boldness that he in his first move, and so I can see that maybe that little streak is in him, and it could be happening. I'm not worried about what they do in the second round. Obviously, I'm just more interested in the continuing development of last year's kids. Both of them, I like them. Pritchard, I think we've slotted is going to be in this league for a long time as a very useful auxiliary player. Neesmith, we don't know yet exactly what. Remember, he was drafted as a guy who was a 50% 3-point shooter in a competitive league, and yet turned out to be surprisingly good on defense. That was a bonus. We haven't seen everything that he has to offer yet. So I'm happy just seeing them develop. I'm not worrying about, and I think we wouldn't be surprised if the pick that they make in the second round is a European, as an international stash.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it will or won't, because the one thing I can say about Brad, think about it, Danny relied on Austin Ainge a lot, and he went overseas a bunch. Yeah. Could Brad rely a lot on his college contacts? Like, I think he will. I think Brad will rely on his college contacts and try to steal a guy from some coach that tells him, hey, what?
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's the one area. Like, Brad has a lot of advantages right now, okay, with the draft and even trades. He knows his team so well, better than anybody. He's already got kind of his thoughts on each player. So I think there's going to be some serious movement here, not with Tatum and Brown, but everybody else. And then he can go to his college people, and they're not going to BS him. Like, so many NBA guys will call a college coach, and if they don't know him super well, that college coach is not going to be honest. They're not going to say, well, this kid stunk, or he didn't play hard, or he had a weed problem, or whatever. I think most college coaches either respect Brad enough or know him well enough that they're not going to BS him. So I think he's going to get real information when he calls, whether it's Bill Self, whether it's Coach K. He's got good relationships or a high level of respect for what he did in college. So he'll have an advantage there. And I think he'll revamp. I hope he revamps their second unit.
Oh, well, that was a major problem. Yeah.
You saw what again, like Milwaukee, even the regular season. I know in the postseason they didn't rely quite as much on their bench, but man, Bobby Portis and Pat Connaughton were pretty key, weren't they?
They were tremendous. They're instrumental. They don't win. That's exactly and by the way, what Phoenix did not get. They had no shot of it after Saric went down. They went. There was no way they were getting it from anybody. So Anyway, yes, it's an important component. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see what the Celtics end up doing here, and again, I think Bob and I both would like to see another significant move made. I don't know if it's going to happen on draft night, but we'll see. Maybe it is. You go from Trader Danny to Trader Brad because he surprised people by wasting no time dealing. Yeah, I mean, listen, if he's fearless like this, I think a lot of Celtics fans will be happy not to see Brad Stevens stand pat and really start to again make some moves, especially with the auxiliary guys on that roster. So we'll see you next week. Bob, Ryan, Jeff Goodman here in the Garden Report, CLNS Media.